Hello everyone, it's my great pleasure to explain and introduce about the South Korea in terms of their culture and their diets and places to go. My name is Jane Lee, PhD in sociology, and actually Mr. Moyer contacted me to create this very short video clip to introduce about the South Korea. Alright, so let me start and let me show some presentation about South Korea. So South Korea is become a kind of the country very far from the United States because it's located in the eastern part of the Asia. So this is what we say 안녕하세요, which means hello in the general term. So this is actually about the saying to the senior or some of the people older than you. So if there are some of the peer group or the friends, you would say 안녕, 안녕, or other hi. The hi in Korean means 안녕 or 잘 지냈어. So I will briefly explain about the basic facts about South Korea and the timeline in the history, and I will show some kind of the very historical, very popular historical structures you'd visit, or some of the foods in South Korea. So South Korea is located in the Korean Peninsula, which is the southern part of the Korean Peninsula. So South Korea occupies about the very not very huge, but the size of the South Korea would be very compatible with the Indiana or not very large state. So now I'm living in Arkansas, and I believe the South Korea is the half the size of the Arkansas. So the southern part of the Korean Peninsula. The culture and the Koreans are profoundly affected by the Confucianism, which was originated from the very ancient Chinese philosophy, which is not very prevalent in the contemporary the East Asian societies, but the origins of the many of the cultures of the Japan and South Korea and many of the East Asian societies would be originated by the Confucianism. And the South Korea, as you might know or not, the Korean Peninsula is divided as half as North Korea and South Korea. So South Korea's official name is the Republic of the Korea. This is because the government asserts control all over the Korea and does not recognize the North Korea as a separate nation. So after the World War II, before the World War II, the South Korea was under the control of the Imperial Japan because they invaded the South Korea and made a colony. But after World War II, Japan was defeated by the United Nations and many of the countries, and they declared that the southern part of the Korea would be under the government and under government of the countries of the freedom, including the United States and other capitalist countries. And the northern part of the South Korea was governed by the communism countries, the Soviet Union, which was the old name of the Russia, and other communism countries. And the major parts of the businesses are the electronics and the telecommunications and the automobile. And if you see the Samsung or the Hyundai or Kia cars, these are from the companies of the South Korea. So South Korea would have a very long historical timeline. So before the Joseon dynasty, there was the Korea and there was the three kingdoms. So started from very long time ago. But very recent timeline would be started from 1392, the Joseon dynasty. But South Korea was, again, as I mentioned before, South Korea was under the control of the Imperial Japan because they invaded South Korea. And the Southern Korea under the American occupation, and after that, there was a civil war of the Korea, and Korea divided on the 38th parallel. So now we are calling the Republic of South Korea as the South Korea. So if you have the time to visit the South Korea, there would be many of the historical places. So first part would be the palaces. So Deoksugung or the Gyeongbokgung, these are located in the Seoul. The Deoksugung is kind of the busiest intersection that has been known by Exhibition Stone Road. So if you go to Deoksugung, you will see very beautiful walls and many of the stone places. And the Changdeokgung, or very famous for exceptional beauty in the history of the design in East Asia. And so in case you have the time, if you go to the central part of the Seoul, or you would go to the Gyeongbok Palace, which was the home of the old kings. So there might be very beautiful places to visit. And the Hwasong Portcullis is a kind of the castle, not the palace. So it's located in the Hwasong, not in the capital city, inside of the Seoul. You will see the battle structure of the ancient Korean society. And also, the Jeju Island is a very big island under the southern part of the South Korea, which is very, very good place for the travel. And the Gochi Beach and the Haeundae Beach, these are very, very scenic places you'd visit for the travel to the sea places. And also, you might be very familiar with the eating because these are very vital in the social media. So you might be familiar with the kimchi or the jjajangmyeon, which is the very Korean style, the traditional noodle. So if you go to the Korean or Chinese restaurant, you'd see many of the jjajangmyeon or the jjampong, which are very good and very delicious noodle on the diet. And the kimchi is a kind of the very seasoned the vegetable. The seasoned the Korean style cabbage. So very traditional Korean style side, these are usually very spicy. So you may be very careful about that. And the kimbap is also in these days, if you go to the Trader Joe or you define the kimbap. Well, this is on the mixture of the many of the ingredients, which is the ham and the carrot and on the eggs and other kinds of the vegetables. So it might be very good foods you start if you are interested in the Korean foods. And also some kind of the street foods, the tteokbokki, which is very spicy, very, very spicy, the rice cake. Combined with the gochujang, which means that the hot pepper, very, very hot pepper sauces. And the kimchi jjigae is a kind of the soup, very similar with the styles of the very spicy soup, but I'm not sure which one is very, very close to the American food. And the bibimbap is also the mixture of the rice and many of the vegetables, and egg and many of the other types of the ingredients. And the must-try dishes as well, the japchae, which is the sometimes very, very transparent noodle. So savory and slightly sweet dish, stir-fried glass noodles and vegetables. So usually the japchae is not very spicy, so you'd try in case you'd visit the Korean restaurant or others. And the ramyeon is just very spicy noodle, and the mandu is the dumpling. If you go to the many of the grocery stores or on the Korean grocery stores, including the H Mart in the Boston area, you'd see many of the frozen dumpling foods. So the mandu or the frozen mandus, it might be very, very accessible foods of the Korean style. Alright, so it was very brief, very, very brief introduction to Korea. So I came from South Korea around 11 years ago for my PhD degree. So actually, Mr. Moyer was my former student at the Gettysburg College. So now I am working at the Arkansas State University. So if you have any other or further questions, you are very welcome to contact me at jlee@astate.edu. Alright, so have a great winter. Vacation time is not yet, but have a great winter and talk to you soon later if you're interested. Thank you. 감사합니다. Thank you.